Today on the channel, San Diego Comic-Con hitting extra hard today, and we're covering the WWE Mattel panel.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, back again with another San Diego Comic-Con recap video, as we're doing a lot of these on the channel, so make sure you subscribe to the San Diego Comic-Con season. And today's video, we're deep diving into the WWE Mattel reveals, the panel specifically today. Now, I am going to do a separate video on preview night, recapping preview night. We're going to talk about some of that stuff as well. This should be a long one. One thing I've been talking about, of course, in my pre-San Diego Comic-Con coverage was temper your expectations. The last couple of years, there's been a lot of people saying disappointed. I wanted to see more. I said, guys and gals, Tom McFarland, I said, temper your expectations. Don't get too out there. Don't think you're going to see stuff 10 years in the future. You guys saw my whole rigmarole, my whole spiel. Well, I got to say, pleasantly surprised here. Maybe I tempered mine too much. I'm not sure. But Mattel came out of this one swinging with some characters we've been screaming for, some deep cut friends, the usual suspects, and new lines of Ultimates, AAA figures, and all points in between. And we're going to cover it. We're going to talk about it all here today. And like I said, some of the stuff won't be covered. It was in preview night. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a separate video. Once again, subscribe to the channel. Of course, want to thank Ringside Collectibles for the pictures here. They put up all the panel pictures on their Instagram. Follow Ringside Collectibles, of course. And when you're there at their website, use code Kyle, save yourself 10%. Got to get a deal out there. Now, we're going to get into all this kind of stuff. Definitely a slam dunk panel there. I was shocked the amount of stuff we did see revealed here. I knew it would be very heavy on Danhausen. I said, we'll probably see some stuff, but we'll probably see a lot of Danhausen in the future. And no doubt about it, we got a lot of Danhausen and some surprises as well. We're going to talk about that. But I will say, Tom McFarland, a severe lack of Ultimate Warriors here. Severe lack of Ultimate Warrior representation. Yes, his Ultimate went up at Target, but makes me a little bit nervous about Ultimate Warrior if they didn't really announce anything Ultimate Warrior related. Could that be he's done with a Legends deal? Could it be the zombie sailors, the collect majors of the world get the Ultimate Warrior? I don't think my wallet would ever financially cover from that, because I can just see collect major making 1,000 different Ultimate Warriors. But that's a discussion for another video. Let's get into it. We got a lot to cover. Grab yourself a beverage. Grab a sandwich, Todd. Put some socks and shoes on while you're at it. Let's dive into it. We're going to start going backwards. I guess it doesn't really matter the order. We're going through it. And we're going to start with the Ultimate Moments. Of course, defining moments. This one is going to be a Ringside Collectible exclusive. It is Danhausen going full Billy Dee Williams, full Lando Calrissian. He does have the cape with this one here. We're going to talk a lot about Danhausen throughout this video, as you can imagine. But you got multiple heads for Danhausen. That's going to be the fun thing with all the different heads and expressions. You can mix and match between all your Danhausens if you want to. But we got Cape Season Danhausen rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling. Trick Williams, another one, Ultimate Moments, Ringside exclusive. Trick Williams on fire. I've been a fan since NXT. I even dressed up his first Elite with a Seth Rollins white jacket. Now we're kind of getting this in the Ultimate form here. Looks good in the grayscale there. I have to think that'll be a huge seller. We'll see what happens there. How about a little Defining Moments Ringside exclusive Hornswoggle figure? So interested to see a Defining Moments Hornswoggle with title belt. Grayscale as of now. Looks to be a new Hornswoggle head sculpt. That should make some Hornswoggle fans very happy. Good friend of the channel, David C. Anderson. Him and Hornswoggle, tight. Thick as Steve, some may say. Or he's trying to get his Lucky Charms. I'm not exactly sure. One of those things. Huge announcement this week. A lot of people said they hoped this would be for sale at San Diego Comic-Con. It would be a surprise exclusive. It would have been the exclusive. I said there's no way that's a possibility, but it is a possibility that's coming in the future. We're getting Dennis Rodman Defining Moments, and what a coup for Ringside Collectibles. That's going to be a Defining Moments exclusive there. Very interesting to get Rodman. Is this a new body? I assume. We know what happens when we assume. I believe this is a brand new body on this one. It could be Tonga Loa's possibly, or not Tonga Loa. The other one, the big tall one, name escapes me right now, but I think we'll see this body in the future here. But Rodman looking good in the NWO. A lot of people are going to be buying multiples of these. That is going to be a good seller. So kudos to Mattel for finding a way to get Dennis Rodman on our NWO shelf. Who would have thought that day would ever come? And then I know a guy, he sat right here once upon a time, did some videos with me. It is one Matt Cardona. He is getting that Intercontinental title figure. Finally getting that as an elite. We got the basic once upon a time. Now we get the elite. You get the shades, the extra heads. You get all the bells and whistles with that one. So you know old Matt Cardona is very happy to see that one in the line. We're getting defining moments, John Cena. And it is, of course, from The Last Time Is Now. We're basically going to get every single gear on John Cena's farewell retirement tour. And it's deserved. I think that's a good idea. So we're getting this as a defining moment. Him in the Intercontinental title, to me, that is a defining moment. That was the title that eluded him for so long. Very cool to see that here. So we'll get that one. And then we get the Coliseum collection. Ringside, not backing down. They aren't scared of an exclusive. Throw an exclusive at ringside, they'll take it. This one's going to be a lot of fun here. It is Earthquake Coliseum collection, a bit of a 2-in-1 figure, as you do get the natural disasters finally in ultimate form. But you also get the debut of John Tenta. Remember that? He'd sit on people's back with Dino Bravo. Can we get Dino Bravo? But he would sit on the backs of guys. They try to do push-ups. And then next thing you know, it was a malfunction at the junction, I think is what they said once upon a time. Love to see that one. Same thing with his partner in crime, Typhoon, a.k.a. Tugboat. A bit of a 2-in-1 figure. You know I'm here for that. And a little known fact about this channel, my stepmom, favorite wrestler of all time, Todd McFarlane, it is Tugboat. Yes, Tugboat, of all the people to choose, what the heck is she doing when I was a little kid? My dad loved the Warlord. My stepmom loved Tugboat. What are we doing? What are we doing in this house? That's what I said. We're an Ultimate Warrior family is what we should have been, but is what it is right there. Now, these are interesting things here. We see Mr. Iguana, Penta, and Rey Mysterio. These new Lucha Libre figures, they're almost remind me of like the Kellyan's back in the day. Some of the ones we've had before, very historic to Mexico and Mexican collectors as far as Lucha Libre figures go. I have a few of those in my collection. I would love to get the CMLL ones one day. It's on my long to-do list. But we're getting some of those heavy hitters with Mr. Iguanas, Rey Mysterio, and all points in between. A little different style. I'm not sure. I'm going to wait and see how the finished product, the packaging, all that looks like. Then I'll decide if I'm going to go down that rabbit hole because they aren't elites, main events, ultimates in the wheelhouse, but there's something a little bit different. But I think there's some meat on the bone with those. Speaking of meat on the bone, no pun intended or full pun intended, Todd McFarlane, we got the original La Parka coming to ringside as an exclusive. Man, I've been wanting a La Parka figure since his WCW days. The chairman absolutely loved La Parka, my favorite luchador of all time. I understand the changing of the gimmicks. The new La Parka is a little too dancey for me, maybe a little bit more dancey than the old one. I like the old little stutter step and get the chair and dance around in a little circle. That was my dancing. Now the new one's like full-on Michael Jackson, but I'll take both of them and we'll get to that. But original La Parka, that could be a figure of the year for me very easily if it does come out this year. We did see Psycho Clown. Now this is where we're getting into the AAA. I should mention that. I did do my predictions video. I fully expected with Ray being on that panel that we were going to get AAA figures. And the prophecy, as it was foretold, I guess Stevie Wonder could have saw that coming, I'd imagine. But we are getting the AAA figures. I'm very excited about that. And we do got La Parka, the original, and now we're going to get deep into it here. Now, be interested to see where these go. This one right here, Psycho Clown, ringside exclusive. Is the entire line going to be ringside exclusive? Is there going to be some mix and match with retail? We'll have to pick up that notes in the future. We did see that Lady Flammer is coming here. I think her and Natalia had a hot feud for a little bit. We got her coming around the corner. Conan, going to make a lot of people excited about Conan. I'm hoping this is scratching the beginnings of Conan here because there's a lot of looks, including NWO, that a lot of people do want from the Wolfpack days. Yeah, you're exactly right. You never turn your back on the Wolfpack, Todd McFarlane. Todd's picking up some things over here on the couch. We also saw the new La Parka coming to the line. Once again, I'm here for that. I'm here for dancing skeletons. Just not too much dancing. Just not too much. It's got to be the right amount. But we got La Parka coming there. We got Mr. Iguana. Not the first time we're going to talk Mr. Iguana here. We got La Yesca. Got to get the most out of your La Yesca molds. Have to imagine that'll be a heavy hitter as well. Looking very good. It's his elite figure. Then we got El Grande Americano. I said, I basically called that whole AAA line. Once again, it doesn't take Stevie Wonder to see that. I think a lot of these heavy hitters, or who we would imagine to be in there, Conan being a bit of a surprise, obviously. Didn't know the status of him. But El Grande Americano, slam dunk there. Wouldn't be shocked to see him in the regular elite lines and all points in between as well. Pagano, I didn't count, but him and Psycho Clown makes a lot of sense. So Pagano coming at us, looking very good as well. original Psychosis. Now you're playing all my ECW hits here. You go back to his early days, AAA, of course, WCW, and all points in between. This is a perfect one. Honestly, you throw this in the Legends set, I'm not against that. Monday Night Wars as well, but we got Psychosis looking awesome. El Hijo de Vikingo, he's coming in hot. I saw him versus Kenny Omega live in person from the front row on one hot summer night in Independence, Missouri. Yes, Independence, Missouri, at an AEW Dynamite show. And Rio had a surprise return. Real ones know about the power of Rio. But I did see that live in person. It was quite the impression against Kenny Omega. Very cool here. Love the horn, love the helmet. Playing a lot of hits for me on this one. And the hits keep on coming. El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. Man, that's a mouthful. I remember the original Dr. Wagner Jr., Dr. Wagner once upon a time. I think he was in like Virtual Pro 2 Pro Wrestling, a heavy hitter once upon a time as well. We are getting him in the line, another stalwart of AAA. Dominic Mysterio, that makes a lot of sense. I even said that. You could put him in there. You got the molds, you got all that. Give him one of his appearances from AAA. Makes all the sense in the world. Got the masked extra head. And then you got a very early Rey Mysterio, basically representing his first ever action figure now in elite form. I'm here for this. This is really cool. Once again, this could be in the Legends line if they really wanted to, but looking very good. Can't wait to dive into that. And then once again, we're talking a little Yeska. We're talking a little bit of Mr. Iguana. Now, is it just me? You guys sound off. When he first burst on the scene to national attention during the first AAA event that was with WWE, you know what I mean? He really took off, and it feels like it's cooled down a lot. And that's the problem with action figures. That's a lot of stuff that's mass-produced. You can't capitalize right at the beginning. Can you imagine if Danhausen, after, well, maybe not his first appearance, but after he started to really catch fire, if they had stuff right now on the store pegs, or Mr. Iguana during that first appearance? That's the thing. It takes a while to catch up. I do feel personally Mr. Iguana has cooled down, but he can heat back up again. He can heat back up, and La Yesca likes to lay in the sun, so maybe that'll happen. We'll see. But we got the Ultimate Edition version of him on Mattel Creations right now for the pre-order. Unfortunately, got to wait about a full year for that one here, so we'll see what happens. A lot can happen with a character in a year. He can go down, he can go up, he can go all points in between. Heck, he could retire, he could leave. You never know what might happen. But we got him around the corner. We'll see how that goes. We did see Penta at the Mattel Revealed event. Once again, I was there. You guys might have remembered me unveiling the Stone Cold figure. But we did see this Penta briefly. Now we got the full Penta experience for his Ultimate Edition. Very, very cool looking figure here. Obviously, Penta is hot. He is on fire. People are going to want that. We know how it goes. Hits keep on coming. We go over to an Ultimate Edition 3-pack with CM Punk, AJ Lee, and Larry. Gosh, it feels like it was a year ago they were scanning Larry and it was on WWE TV or whatever. We're finally getting those three. Pretty darn cool. It's a family pack, I guess is what we'll call it, the CM Punk family. A lot of people are going to be excited for that one as well, so we'll see where that goes. This one, I guess, caught me by surprise because of the crossover. You never know when you get different licenses and IPs together, but we got the Liv Morgan Chucky 2-pack coming. Mattel Creations exclusive, makes sense. Now, this one has some of those effects that we saw with Sheamus, where he put some ice on his chest and all of a sudden it shows bruising, and Sheamus is perfect for something like that. This one, if you do that to Liv, you're going to see blood in her eyes and stuff from, of course, the little promo, I guess, for the Chucky TV series, which is years ago at this point. But I do think this is very cool. This is a crossover that WWE, Mattel, and all points in between need to. It's about synergy. How do you get non-WWE fans to buy this? Well, Chucky has a universe. Chucky has a fan base. You're going to get people that never buy wrestling figures that dive in for this Chucky, pick up this Liv Morgan. It's that business hat. That's what we always talk about here. And it's more important than ever for all these major companies like Mattel, WWE, and of course, Chucky and his whole licensing property. So very, very fun. A very kid-friendly Chucky on this one, too, I will say. So it's not an over horror-fueled Chucky. Yes, he's got a knife, but it's more friendly-looking Chucky, we'll call it there. A lot of people are going to be excited for that. Talking about synergy, talking about crossover, we got more Street Fighter. We talked about it on the prediction. Could we see one set? Could we see more? Is the line ending? I did say it probably is not ending because you got the Street Fighter movie around the corner. You're going to want to capitalize on that, get some extra sales. Once again, the synergy. The synergy is going on. But we did see Jey Uso as Dalsim. An interesting choice here, an interesting choice. We did get Tatanka as T-Hawk. That's an interesting choice as well. Makes the most sense. It's almost like the Yokozuna sumo wrestler. And honestly, I don't think Mattel would want the publicity or WWE would want the publicity if they made, I don't know, Shawn Michaels as as T-Hawk, or somebody that doesn't come from Native American heritage. That's a dangerous, dangerous game. And you know how people are in this day and age. People complain about a lot of stuff. So I think they made the right choice. Tatanka's a weird one. Are we getting Tatanka? Is he not around anymore? He was telling us there was an Ultimate Edition coming years ago. It never came. So he's one of those guys that's like, does he have a contract or does he not have a contract? I'm not so sure. Obviously he does, and he is coming in the form of T-Hawk. That makes a lot of sense. We saw Chung Lee, Stephanie Vacour. That makes a lot of sense as well. When I look at it at first, I thought it was Chelsea Green, but we see her, what she wears and all that kind of stuff in the ring, very similar to Chung Lee as well. So that makes sense to me. Zangief, Brock Lesnar. Zangief, my all-time favorite from Street Fighter. Him and Blanca right up there. I was wondering if they did Zangief, who could it be? I was thinking, if Braun Strowman was still around, maybe that would have been the perfect pairing. But Brock Lesnar makes a lot of sense. He's a big dude. I can see that. And we did get full cape with Zangief. Full cape. We got to make note of the cape. Cape season right around the corner. That should be a lot of fun. This one surprised me here. We got China coming back as a Monday Night Wars Ultimate, which means Walmart exclusive. She does got that little cannon she used to shoot out back in the day. Very, very cool. I'm not sure how well this will sell. There's been so much clamoring for China figures over the years, and we've got quite a few from Mattel, but at least in my areas and the areas I travel, we've seen some serious peg warming with China. So very interested to see how this will do as an Ultimate Edition. We'll have to wait and see, but it should be fun to have that in the collection. And then, of course, one of her sparring partners, dare I say lovers, maybe Todd McFarlane, maybe not, Eddie Guerrero coming back to the line again. We've seen a lot of Eddies in the Ultimate form. We got the Roses, you got the European title. I got a lot of stuff going on. It looks like it's a Chippendales version of Eddie Guerrero is what we're getting on this one. One I've been saying that's got to be coming for the Ultimates. I didn't predict it this year. I predicted it in years past. I really thought JBL would be in this position, is what it is. But we are getting Ultimate Edition Booker T, which we desperately needed Ultimate Booker T. But when I thought of Ultimate Booker T, I did not think of this version. Of course, the end of Monday Nitro era. That's a fitting one. You could say it's a defining moment in a lot of ways. But I fully expected we would have got King Booker as an Ultimate Edition, but maybe that'll come in the future. But I'm always welcome for more Booker T's in my collection. I enjoy Booker T. I'm here for that. The two belts really adds a lot to it. Now, this one's a big surprising. I don't like this one being in the Monday Night Wars personally. Your mileage may vary, but it is Cold Steve Austin, Monday Night War Elite. It's basically Danhausen dressed up as Stone Cold Steve Austin. To me, this doesn't make any sense for the Monday Night Wars. I understand Stone Cold's part of it. Danhausen wasn't. I think this should have been in a regular Elite series or an exclusive or somewhere else. Semantics at the end of the day. I open my stuff up. It doesn't even matter. But it feels weird being the Monday Night Wars line to me, unless I'm missing something, and I've missed things a time or two. But more Danhausen in a different style of Danhausen. That makes a lot of sense. And now we head over to the Monday Night Wars, one of the all-time greatest peg warmers. One of the greatest peg warmers back from the Jakks days. There is some old Toys R Us that are probably Spirit Halloweens or something else. I know mine's a bin store now. And if you just get quiet there, when it opens, there's nobody there and you kind of listen, you can hear in the air, you can hear that Jacqueline figure just sitting there rotting on the pegs. And that's what we're getting here in the Elite line. But man, I'm here for it. We need representation of Jacqueline. I don't have any problems with this one being in my collection. So Jacqueline coming in extra hot here. And then we're going to get Nasty. I had a feeling the Nasty Boys were going to be rearing their head in Mattel sooner rather than later. We've seen them recently from Epic Toys, Collect, Major, and all points in between. A lot of these talent are working the circuit. And of course, signing with all these companies, then signing the Legends deal. And that's what we're seeing with the Nasties. Very, very happy Mattel is going with the green shirts here. It's something different. It's different over the top. I love that. You can almost make these 2-in-1. You take the shirts off and it's almost like their AWA days if you really want to do that. But I'm here for the Nasty Boys, of course. And then we're getting K-Quick, going way back in the day, K-Quick. That's where I first came across R-Truth. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But we're getting an old school K-Quick. And then another deep cut here, a moment in time, but perfect for the Monday Night Wars line. It is Nurse, Doctor, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure we get the bedpan with it, and we do. Never forget that clonking him over Vince McMahon's head and hearing that clonk, and then seeing Vince's underwear as he fell to the floor. So, cool moment in time. Honestly, this could have been a defining moment in some way. Everybody remembers that moment. It was a one-off thing, but it stood its ground forever. Now this is an interesting one. This line came out of left field. It reminds me of the old monster line, the zombie lines we've had over the years. But we're getting, I guess, Universal Horrors crossover with WWE talent. Once again, synergy. It's about bringing brands together, everybody getting a little piece of the action. Seeing more and more of it every single day in grocery items and all points in between, including wrestling. So we're getting Shaun of the Dead, Kevin Owens. Interesting idea, I think, on that. We're getting Jacob Fatu as the Wolfman. Once again, that makes a lot of sense. That feels like it belongs together. Two different head sculpts on that. CM Punk Dracula, I guess that kind of makes sense as well. A lot of extra stuff with this Dracula figure and a cape, of course. It's cape season. You got to be rocking that around the corner. Looking very good to see that. And then we're getting into the Legends series here. Of course, one of my favorite lines of all time. You guys know I'm a classics guy. Going back to the classic superstars. I even wrote a book on it. The Complete Guide to the Classic Superstars series. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Cheap plug. Pick it up if you haven't already. But we're getting Buddy Roberts as the Build-A-Figure. Buddy Roberts, the sleeper of the Freebirds. No doubt about it. We did get a Buddy Roberts from the Jakks Classic Superstars line, but he was desperately needed in the Elite line. We've got Terry Gordy. We got Michael P.S. Hayes. We needed Buddy Roberts. I am here for that. Looking very good. Very plain. Works perfectly as a Build-A-Figure. Very happy they went that direction. But we're not done. There's some forgotten Freebirds. Yes, I'm talking about Bad Street. Yeah, old Todd McFarlane picking it up. We need the masked Bad Street. That's another Build-A-Figure we need. Brad Armstrong once upon a time. No, probably not that one, but we are getting Jimmy Jam Garvin, who I loved Jimmy Jam Garvin when I was a kid. I don't know what it was, but I loved Jimmy Jam Garvin. Love that we got the white gloves for him, too. Just an all-timer, a different thing. It's almost like the Eric Embry category. I always scream my love for Eric Embry, and a lot of people say, I don't even know who Eric Embry is. You hear that about Jimmy Garvin, probably Buddy Roberts as well. But man, oh man, a moment in time, if you were there, if you were watching it, you believed, my friend. You believed. And I love Jimmy Jam Garvin, so excited to get that one in the collection. And then Victoria coming to the Elite line. I think we heard about that a while back, that she'd signed a Legends deal. So it was one of those things that just got to wait for it. But once again, another great talent coming to the Legends line. Should be very fun. And then here's one that I called a couple of years ago. And I guess if you call it and you say it all the time, eventually you're going to be right. Eventually you're going to be right. But I'd heard about 2 years ago, they were working on possibly getting Abyss and possibly a TNA line. There was going to be some, once again, dare I say, synergy. That's the buzzword of the day here today. But we are getting Abyss in the Legends line. Makes a lot of sense. He is, of course, in the WWE as a producer and stuff. I don't think it's super hard. Makes me wonder, can we get a Billy Kidman figure? Can we finally get Kidman? Kind of the same thing here, but Abyss is going to be much needed here. A great figure for crossover. Love the idea of this one. And man, I just think about Abyss versus Kane, Abyss versus The Undertaker, and even Mankind maybe a little earlier than when they squared off in TNA. Would have loved to seen some of those kind of dream matches at the time, but very fun to get Abyss. For a lot of people, this will be one of the biggest slam dunks, I do believe, of San Diego Comic-Con 2026. So we got that coming. We got the Hulkster coming, and we've got a lot of Hulksters. This one not terribly different. The blue knee pads, the screaming head. There's some difference there. He's got the what you gonna do, brother hands on him as well. But the big selling point of this one is that old school Hogan championship belt with his head on it. Moment in time, but there's a lot of people that collect just belts, and this is a new belt back out there with the Hulkster, trying to complete every belt of all time for Hulkamania, I think. Hits keep on coming over to Mr. Perfect land, Mr. Perfect Ultimate. That's one we've talked about for a long time on the channel. Have to imagine that one's coming. Looks like we even got a spitting head, a little effect piece. He's a spitter, that Mr. Perfect. We got that spitting the gum out. We got a couple of heads with him. I'm here for this. You get the Intercontinental title, and then in a plot twist, you get that broken world title belt. That is very fun. You even get a football, the towel, the extra hands. Dare I say, the Perfect Ultimate. It's really picking up where the Hacksaw we recently unboxed on the channel left off. Some of these Ultimates for Target, we're getting a lot of extra details too, and they really do feel ultimate, which that's been the lack the last few years. Felt like some of the Ultimates weren't so ultimate. This Mr. Perfect feels truly ultimate, so kudos to Mattel on that one. Ultimate hits keep on coming. Davey Boy Smith, the old British Bulldog. Looks like we're going to get the cape for him so he can hold that buck up as well. Celebrate cape season Lando Calrissian style. A lot of people are going to be excited for a little Bulldog, but man, we're getting beat up with Bulldog figures from a lot of different toy lines, like some of this talent as well. We do got the WrestleMania, I believe. WrestleMania John Cena. A lot of people clamoring for this one as well, and this one is coming to the Ultimate. John Cena never met a toy line he didn't like, and we're still celebrating his retirement year. We're also getting that Cody Rhodes from around the same time as well. Looking good. Everybody wants Cody, of course. Cody and John, the WrestleMania moments. Never forget. Never forget. But we got Cody coming back to the Ultimate line. No stranger, but he is stranger in my mailboxes. He's been delayed by Amazon. Will I ever get that Cody figure? We'll see what ends up happening. Hits keep on coming back to the WWE Mattel Elite line. We're going to dive into some of these. No stranger, CM Punk, a modern-day CM Punk in red. Just all the colors of the rainbow for CM Punk from Raw. And then we're getting AJ Lee. Now, I do have that greatest hits figure, I should say, the one I got from the Vault, from the Vault set from Ringside using code Kyle, save 10%. Of course, I got that AJ Lee to unbox. I got to get around to that. It's been very busy the last couple of weeks in my life. But we got another AJ Lee. This isn't the first one we've seen. This isn't the last one we're going to see here in this video. But it looks really, really good. They really captured her likeness, I do think, in this one. And then no stranger, once again, we got Danhausen. We got the teeth gear here. I believe we got a collect major big rubber guy of this gear, if I'm not mistaken. Looking good. Danhausen back at it. Another good Danhausen. And then one I'm excited about, I don't know about you guys, and especially you gals, sound off in the comments, but I'm pretty excited about Lash legend Nia Jakks in their white demolition gear. I think that is so darn cool from WrestleMania. Just feeling a lot of those demolition hits. Wouldn't be shocked if that's not reuse of the demolition stuff from Mattel. But man, I like the looks of that there. So very cool to get those two. One guy I predicted we'd see a lot of. We only saw one, at least as of right now. Maybe more to come this week. And we will do catch-up videos. We will do more San Diego Comic-Con news videos the next couple of days. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. You don't want to miss a video. We're going to do deep dives into Masters, G.I. Joe, and all points in between. So be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. But we got Obafemi coming in extra hot here. A lot of people riding that Obafemi wave, much like Trick Williams loved him in NXT. I'm not sure about his main roster so far. It's I don't know. A lot of people love it. I get it. I get it. I just want to see a little bit more. We'll see where it goes, but he truly dominated NXT. Going to be very interesting at SummerSlam how he goes with Brock at Hell in the Cell. Fully expecting him to win that trilogy match there, but where does he go from there? He's a big talent. You can't mess it up. You don't want to knock him back a couple of stages. Does he go straight for the world title after that and go on like a Goldberg streak? I'm not sure, but we got Obafemi coming back. I predicted this one too. I figured for sure. He's been all over SmackDown the last 6 months, year, or whatever it's been. What is time? Kit Wilson coming in hot. His second ever Elite figure. That'll be pretty fun. Same thing, predicted Maxine Dupree. Had to imagine she was coming, especially with her winning the Intercontinental title a while back. That kind of cemented her getting another Elite figure, her first Elite. She did get a main event once upon a time. LA Knight not messing around. He's got those like Timberland boots. It's wild. I always think of, what's that rapper that always wore Timberlands? I don't know. Was his name Timberland? Maybe. I don't know. But I forget who I'm thinking of. But I'm not in the rap game real big. But he always wore the Timberland shoes. And I always think of that with LA Knight. Got the vest, got the hands. He's doing the LA Knight things, of course. Yeah, as they always say. Playing all the hits right there. I think that might be it for the notes right now for this video. So are we done? Looks like we're done. I will say the panel, a lot of guests on there. You had Lash Legend, you had Sam Roberts, you had the Mattel team, of course, Rey Mysterio. Special guests, CM Punk and AJ Lee. Was fun to see them. CM Punk, I think, was there last year as well, if I'm not mistaken. So we got to see some of that. That is very fun to see. I guess we did have a few other announcements of the LJN variety. Another one I predicted. I figured we'd probably see Cyndi Lauper. Makes a lot of sense. We're getting her in the LJN line. Really feels like she belongs in there. Would have to imagine we'll get a Wendy Richter if she's still available in the LJN line too. But we got Cyndi Lauper coming there. Wouldn't be shocked to see a retro Cyndi Lauper in the future and maybe another Elite or a basic main event, something like that. We'll see. But she is officially coming to the LJN line. Junkyard Dog, we're getting the most out of our molds. Kind of, not really. It's new molds, but it's getting it back out there all in red. So JYD coming to the party. British Bulldog, no surprise. We're getting the British Bulldog. I'm not shocked. We're getting the most out of him across the board, it seems like. One I did mention a while back. I'm shocked he hasn't been announced yet, and here we are, full-on reveal. It is, of course, Roman Reigns in the LJN, and as usual, LJN's Target exclusives, as we know. Jey Uso, Iron Sheik, Brother Love. That Brother Love is a big one. We talked about that in the Toy News a couple of weeks ago as well. We had a feeling that was coming. We saw some renders. Same thing with Iron Sheik. Going to get that green title belt with him. So Iron Sheik, I would say the second most famous LJN in a lot of ways of all time. That original Hulkster and Sheik. It feels like everybody had those. So we got those going. And Brother Love is going to be a fun one to have. And speaking of the Hulkster, we're getting Japan Hulkster in LJN. Sure, why not, I guess. But we do got that more Japan look for the Hulkster. I always do like those blue boots on him, though. He should have stuck with that instead of the yellow. Yeah, maybe, maybe not. And then the Hart Foundation tag teams, we knew those were around the corner. a lot of us excited about that one. I was very excited for the Hart Foundation. Wish they were different poses, is what it is. I would have liked to seen a more latent day Hart Foundation right before they broke up, went their separate ways, whatever you want to call it. And now we're going to dive into the main event figures. Almost forgot main event, and they're playing a lot of hits here for me. The main event line has went to a new level over the last couple of years. Some great streetwear figures, first time in the line figures, and then all the hits we always get to play with. But we get Rusev coming back to the line. Proportions always strange on Rusev. This one no different. One I'm very excited about, Zarya. I love Zarya on NXT since the get-go. She's the current North American female champion. I can't wait for when she goes to the main roster. Have to imagine her and Rhea Ripley will be like the Australian connection. They'll be tag team champs and stuff. Then the eventual breakup. It could be like Hogan and Warrior all over again. Maybe we'll see it one day. We'll see what happens there. Lash Legend, first time in the line. This will come out before her Elite. It is a main event style Lash Legend. And then a Street Gear CM Punk, very fun, just jeans and a hoodie. You pop that head off. This could be any fan in the crowd wearing CM Punk stuff. You have a custom head you want to put on there, you could do something like that. So I think that is very fun. And that's what I love about main events, giving us some backstage promo gear, suited figure and stuff. Very cool to get that CM Punk. We're getting Logan Paul, Austin Theory. That's an easy pass. Man, Logan Paul, we've been beaten over with his figures over the last couple of years, it feels like. One, I have to imagine Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green are excited about their 2-pack. We're getting Chelsea with the United States Championship, and then we got Zack Ryder coming back into the line. I don't know why this one goes together. Does it really? I'm not sure exactly, besides their husband and wife. I don't know. Playing off of that, but I know they're pretty much into it. And speaking of husbands and wife, Danhausen, Ghoulhausen 2-pack main event. Have to imagine this one will set the world on fire. Very cool for him to get his wife in a 2-pack, which I would never think coming because 99.9% of people that watched that did not know that was his wife. They have no clue about it. It's just a Ghoulhausen. So I think that is very fun. And then you got the more street gear Danhausen, very similar to the one we got from Jazzwares once upon a time. I thought that was a nice little touch. Now we might possibly be done. I'm looking through the notes here, seeing if I missed anything. Talked about Hornswoggle, of course, and Todd. Todd always cared about those little people. Todd loves the little people. He never forgets the little people, is what I've been told. But very cool. That is everything here today. Like I said, I got another video going over preview night. A little bit out of order, but that's just how the life is. And we will talk about that, some first impressions on those live from the cases. We'll see more stuff in the cases as the weekend goes on, as we always do. So be prepared for more updates. I will do a Masters, probably a Marvel, a G.I. Joe update video, probably a traditional toy news that'll dive into some boss fight and some bull error stuff and some things off the beaten path. We'll put those into a super video, and then we'll have a recap video, and then I'll probably somewhere along the line do like my top 10 favorite reveals from San Diego Comic-Con weekend. It is a busy, busy weekend if you're into the action figure game and all points in between, really, honestly. Very, very fun stuff here, and kudos to Mattel. I'm not kissing their butt, Todd. You're just mad I wasn't kissing your butt. You're mad I missed the party the other night. That's what you are. But Mattel, I said temper the expectations. They went for the jugular, and I appreciate that. They gave us a lot of stuff. I think a lot of people are like, our wallets are burning. Just remember, this is like the roadmap for the next 8 to 10 months at best, maybe even a year. So it's not like all this stuff is going to come out at once. But I'm even shocked at the amount of product we saw right here with the addition of a lot of these different ringside exclusives, the AAA stuff, and then some of the main events and Ultimate Creations exclusives and all points in between. It's a lot of stuff, and it makes it very hard to be a completionist. Don't you know? I know that for sure. But buy what you like, pass on what you don't. That's what you got to do. But don't be overwhelmed. How to eat an elephant, one bite at a time. So the more you know, folks, the more you know. And like I said, more videos to come for San Diego Comic-Con, but hopefully you enjoyed this one. Be very interested to hear what your favorite reveal of these were. What are you excited for? What came out of left field for you? What were you super surprised about? Let me know in the comments down below. A lot of capes. You're exactly right, Tom Farron. I was very pro cape here. Mattel really stepping up their cape game. I'm here for that. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like this video. Subscribe to the channels, 2 YouTube channels with content every single day. Of course, don't forget to check out Patreon, YouTube channel memberships to support the channel and all the content. Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and The Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com, which is the name of my podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show, available where podcasts are found with video cast on YouTube. So for another issue episode, same thing, San Diego Comic-Con panel reveal, I am Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?